What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm here with my good friend Steve, and we're going to talk about how he was able to do about 16,000 in sales in really just his first few weeks, first month of doing online arbitrage and everything. So, Steve, thanks for being with me.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah. So, what was the exact number on like your sales thus far and your sales month to date and all that?
So year to date, I'm at 49,000.
Yeah.
I did about 15,000 my first full month in
Yeah.
March. Yeah, so
And then,
it's
so you're moving this month with April. Then you said
yeah,
you're at like 30. You said right?
yeah.
Then
I'm
math.
at 20, yeah, about 28 right now.
Cool. So, yeah. So getting there. Fantastic. Okay. Cool. And you're doing completely online arbitrage.
So I'm doing 90% online. I still have a few products that I get RA. I
Mhm.
stop it.
Low-hanging fruit that yeah, that you like
It's
that
just
you
too
know
hard to
about
pass up.
coming in and everything. Yeah, but so take us back to kind of your background and then ultimately how you got into Amazon a lot, which has been probably a whirlwind. Seems like it's been pretty quick, but all that.
Yeah. So I just retired from the Navy. 22 years. Retired Navy senior chief. Um, basically I retired literally like 19 days ago.
Oh,
And I didn't
wow.
have a
Yeah.
full-time job lined up, and I always wanted to start a business and I always had kind of entrepreneurial spirit. So then I came across some of your guys' videos, yours and Warner's, and yeah, I was like, I can totally do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went after it. So
Yep, and he's an FBA Roadmap student, so you've been through that content
yeah.
as well, and you've been taking action quickly and all that. So a big thing that is really probably the hardest part of all this, obviously you need to set up an account, supplies, whatever, capital and all that, but finding that first item. So walk me through what category the first item was in and ultimately how you found it, because that's the hardest part for literally everyone, I'd say.
So I took the advice literally about just go scan stuff. And that's what I tell people who message me. Like you just have to go try to scan stuff, man, to start with. So I went to Walmart. I went to clearance aisle. I scanned these things. I found this toy for $1. It was selling for $9 on Amazon. So I bought all that was left, and I merchant fulfilled them just to get started, just to see how it went. And they all sold within a week, and it was off to the races after that.
Yeah, that proof of concept that stuff actually sells and everything is so
Mhm.
important because people can watch our videos and see the data, Keepa and all that. But what really matters is literally just does an item sell and everything. And I also like the part that you merchant fulfilled stuff because you didn't have to deal with the drag of waiting for stuff to check in and everything. And I think with those first couple sales, it's important, like not forget making money, just getting sales and seeing the cash flow, shipping, getting those kind of the reps in on those motions and everything. And you said that was a toy, right?
It was a toy. I think it was a Paw Patrol, like a little box. And I
Mhm.
can't remember exactly what it was, but all I know
Yeah.
is it cost me $3 or or $1 a piece. It was pretty low risk. you know, I think for me, I wanted to get the experience with Seller Central, how things kind of moved. You're right. Watching videos all day is one thing. Actually having to go and do it, you can't build a muscle memory until you do it, right? It's the same thing I've been doing in the Navy for forever. Somebody can talk about something all day, but until you actually go do it yourself, you can't comprehend it. You can't build that muscle memory. So
And so walk me through the types of items you're mainly doing now. Is it still a lot of toys?
no, I mean, I started dabbling in toys a little bit, but I'm really trying to get a lot of the grocery, a lot of the beauty. Since watching you for a while, I really started getting into shoes. I had a big weekend this past weekend at the Nike outlet, so we'll see
Nice.
how that turns out. But yeah, for me, I'm looking at the data. Like I sell things that that to some might be embarrassing. They might be something that you wouldn't normally talk about. But the data is there. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Because on Amazon, everything sells, right? So yeah, dude, I'm
Yeah,
not trying
it's
to play new products. So
yeah, understanding just the data behind stuff, right? Because what the item matters a little bit in terms of ungating and everything, and just actually getting it to Amazon in terms of the size, weights, all that. But what matters so much more is the three things: what it sells for, what you can buy it for, and then how often it sells. Looking at the Keepa. So
yeah.
transitioning more into the technical side of stuff, what all tools are you using to find items and run the business all
So
together?
I have tried all of the tools literally. I right now mainly SellerAmp, Keepa. I still use tactical arbitrage and tactical expander. I've really tried to. I spend an hour a day on tactical expander and tactical arbitrage because I want to master it as much as I can. I think a lot of people get kind of taken back by it because they try it for a couple times and they see the products that come out and it's not what they thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be an easy button. It's a skill, like you always say, right? You have to practice it a lot. So I'm really trying to get into the coupons and, Rakuten, and trying to dig deeper than just surface level stuff that all the BAs are doing.
Yes.
Um,
Let's oh my bad. Let's dude, people were telling me I was interrupted, so I'm like really trying to get
I
better
saw
at
I
that.
saw some comments on some of your
Yeah,
videos.
well, I get it though. Obviously I'm working on this too and everything, but
Yeah.
there's a really important point there is using tactical arbitrage, but not doing the surface level stuff, and that finding like let's say Walgreens is out of sale lately, right? Plugging that Walgreens sale into the TA search so it filters off that and everything.
Yeah.
And what's been the most successful sourcing method thus far?
I would say reverse sourcing is by far the best. I mean, it's a lot more time consuming, but once you when I first started, I didn't know what the hell Keepa was, right? I didn't understand the graphs. I didn't understand it. But now I can, within about 2 or 3 seconds, you can see it immediately and say, okay, this is something I want to dig a little bit more into, or this is never going to be for me, and you can move to the next product. So you start getting a little bit more comfortable with your, as you make more purchases and you see the profits that come back, you start getting more confident in your buying process, right? You start to hone your process in. So I think repetition is key, especially for Keepa.
Oh yeah, and some of this stuff, right? The goal is obviously to be able to then replenish stuff and everything, but at the start you need proof of concept, you need sales. But as you get better at reading Keepa data, you can understand, okay, when I come to that product, I immediately disqualified if Amazon's on it, stuff like that. And if you're using SellerAmp too, if you're reverse sourcing, you'll immediately see all the Keepas on the right there to get an idea of that. So is SellerAmp reverse sourcing a lot of what you're doing?
Absolutely, yeah. SellerAmp. I use the there. I mean, there's sometimes I'll just go to a website. I went to Walgreens this morning and I just manually look at their website because like you always say, technology can only go so far, right? So sometimes they might miss stuff. So I'll go in there and I'll manually try to look at products and kind of go back to Amazon and search for it, and then do my own calculations to see if it adds up. Because I think there's a lot of people who don't do that or don't have the time to do that. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
And so I'm curious, being that you've had probably the most successful first 45 days of anyone I've ever heard of, really, and everything. Is there anything you do differently if you could go back and do the last month and a half or so over again?
I would definitely get ungated in some things faster than I did. It took me a couple times going to the store and realizing that I couldn't sell a lot of the stuff, and I was like, okay, I have to get in if I'm really going to do this, because I had some capital, I was ready to get into it. I think ungating, you have to get the big categories first. Um, but I also tried to stretch myself a little too thin. I think in the beginning, I was trying to hit all the categories in Amazon, which it can be overwhelming in the beginning. So I think if I had to do it all over again, I would try to focus on one category and own it, right? And just try to get my repetitions in with one, be familiar with the products, how fast they're selling, are they replenishable, those kind of things, instead of just randomly picking the clearance aisle. Eventually, you have to get out of the clearance aisle. You have, it's great to start with, just to kind of get the feel of the apps, right? Um, the Amazon Seller app and how it scans, and see what their products come back at. But eventually, that's only going to take you so far. You're going to be very limited on that stuff. By the
Gotcha.
way, I did do books too the first couple of days.
Oh, the first couple days. I'm a
Yeah,
fan of that too, just because you get to read data quickly. And with
yeah.
books, you can sift through products manually quicker than literally anything else when you're just boom scanning.
I
So
went to
I'm
I
a
went
fan
to
of
some
that.
Goodwills. I went to some. I was like, this is definitely not how I want to spend the rest of my retirement days. It just wasn't for me. I think people should start there. I think it's a great ROI. For me, the time, it just, I was able to learn some things, but that I took it for what it was. I learned some stuff, and I moved quickly into some other things. So
Yeah, and that's the most important part. I literally made a whole video about understanding that what you do day one, week three is so much different than, in your case, what you do month two. But I was saying like month three, month six, that kind of stuff, right? Because this is something that's going to be around for a while, that we're going to be doing for years. It's a lot easier to, visualize taking hours to sit down and focus and do something, because that's how you get good at anything in
yeah,
general. But when you understand that this is stuff that you learn, you're going to be able to use and maybe even in some cases source for years. Um, I
yeah.
don't know. And another point I like is the focusing on a specific category, which that's what I did with shoes and clothing. And now I've been able to sell a lot of toys last December, and all that. I'm curious on your outlook in terms of how high you think you could take this thing, and in terms of what you think will change in the way you operate in the coming months and years.
So for me, I'm not really so much focused on the number, right? I'm more focused on learning as much as I can about Amazon and getting return on my time, right? Like I've been, I'm either going to have to go to a warehouse model or I'm going to have to do a prep center because now the volume's getting so high where I've already turned over all the cash that I got back. I've already reinvested into the business, and I'm spending a lot of time prepping, and it's just. And I still have two young kids, and they help too. They're great about helping me put stickers on products and stuff. But eventually, I'm going to have to move out of this office and get a bigger space. I'm not, yeah. So again, I'm not so much focused on the number of sales. It's really more about having a comfortable living and loving what I do. Being in the government, being in the Navy for so long, I've always had somebody kind of over me, right? And now I'm kind of a free spirit, and I can either just wake up and not do anything with Amazon today, and take a walk, or I can, load up 500 units and send it in. So that for me is the best part about this is the flexibility. So that's really all I need. So.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And just based off your location, sales tax wise, you'll be able to save money on a lot of stuff, specifically stuff that's over like $30 and $40 and just on beyond. You'll save money using a tax-free prep center. So that's definitely something to consider as well. And you seem to be just based on the way you're operating, the numbers you're doing, you're very good at like data and everything and clearly time management and all that. So you'll be able to get VAs if you ever want to. Is that something you considered?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at now for some VAs to help me source because I was talking to my wife yesterday. I was like, I just don't have time because sourcing does take some time. If you want to do it right and find some real good products, it takes time to go through all this stuff, right? So I think for me, I'm going to have to get some of that time back eventually. So.
Yeah, and it's as simple as just you taking a few of your sourcing days or even just a few hours, screen recording yourself the whole time, that being the first initial piece of training you give to the VA you hire or inquire with. And you can get people who have experience with online arbitrage in the first place doing that as well. So that's a good rule of thumb for anyone interested in doing that that's listening. Definitely screen record yourself sourcing, write the categories, the websites you like to use, and all that. And that's the thing too. The VAs will learn as you go.
Yeah.
And everything like that. So yeah, oh, sorry, you're saying?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about screen recording myself, so that's good.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I make videos a few times a week doing that and everything.
Yeah.
That seems to, I hope, help people and everything like that. But cool, amazing. So Steve's Instagram is right there if you guys want to go follow him. Hopefully some more content coming soon. But either way, you're building out the foundation well.
I'm trying to get the hang of this. This is definitely a young man's game. I never really was into social media stuff, so I guess I'll learn from you, and we'll go from there. So
cool. Fantastic. Yeah, well, if you guys are interested in checking out the FBA Roadmap, it's linked below and all that. You'll probably see Steve and I in some of the Zoom calls there for the course members and all that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Steve, for coming on. That was a lot of fun. Make sure you guys go reach out to him if you liked his story as well, which you probably did if you're this late in the video. But thanks a lot, guys, and make sure to subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.
all right, thanks, guys.